Olivia Mason loved watching the stars. She worked at a small space center in the mountains of Colorado, where she could see the night sky clearly. Most nights were quiet and normal. She would look through big telescopes and write down what she saw. Nothing exciting ever happened there, until tonight. Olivia was alone in the main room with the biggest telescope. Everyone else had gone home. The computer that tracked objects in space suddenly made a loud beeping noise. Olivia looked at the screen and saw something strange. An object was moving very fast toward Earth. Then it stopped suddenly in mid-air. Things in space did not move like that. What in the world? Olivia whispered to herself. She quickly adjusted the telescope to look at where the object had stopped. Through the lens, she could see something shiny and silver. It was moving slowly now, coming down toward the ground near the space center. Olivia grabbed her jacket and a flashlight. She knew she should probably call someone important, like the military or her boss. But something told her to go look first. She ran down the stairs and out the back door of the building. The night was cold and clear. Olivia could see her breath in the air as she walked toward the open field behind the space center. Then she saw it, a silver shape coming down from the sky. It made no noise at all. The object was about the size of a small house and shaped like an egg. It glowed with a soft blue light that made the trees and grass around it look strange and beautiful. The silver ship landed gently on the grass. Olivia stood still, her heart beating fast. She should be scared, she thought, but instead she felt curious and excited. She took a few steps closer. The surface of the ship looked like liquid metal. It moved and rippled like water in a pond. As Olivia got closer, part of the ship's side began to change. It opened up, forming a doorway with a soft light coming from inside. Olivia stopped. She waited, holding her breath. A figure appeared in the doorway. It looked like a woman, but unlike any woman Olivia had ever seen. She was very tall, maybe 7 feet high. Her skin seemed to glow from the inside, like there was light under it. Her hair moved slowly around her head as if it was underwater, but the most amazing thing was her eyes. They were large and seemed to have stars in them, like looking into tiny galaxies. The alien woman stepped out of the ship and onto the grass. She moved gracefully, almost floating. She looked around curiously, until her eyes found Olivia. Their eyes met across the field. Suddenly, the alien woman's face changed. Her strange, beautiful features showed complete surprise. Her mouth opened slightly. Her eyes widened. She took a step forward, then another, moving toward Olivia. Olivia wanted to run, but she couldn't move. She watched as the alien came closer. Now Olivia could see something even stranger happening. The alien woman's eyes were filling with tears. But these weren't normal tears. They glowed with blue light as they ran down her face. The alien woman reached out her hands toward Olivia. Her fingers were long and delicate. She was shaking. After all this time, the alien said in perfect English, her voice musical and soft, "You've returned to me." Olivia didn't understand. "What?" "I think you've made a mistake. We've never met before." The alien woman shook her head slowly. "No mistake. I would know you across 1,000 lifetimes, across all of space." She wiped away a glowing tear. "You don't remember me, but I have waited so long to see your face again." "Who are you?" Olivia asked. She should be terrified of this strange being, but somehow she felt safe. "My name, in your language, would be closest to Lyra, the alien," woman said. "I come from very far away, and you—" She reached out as if to touch Olivia's face but stopped just before making contact. "You look exactly like someone I knew long ago, someone very dear to me." "That's impossible," Olivia said. "I've never been to space. I've never met aliens before." Lyra smiled sadly. "There is much you don't know about yourself, Olivia Mason." Olivia stepped back in shock. "How do you know my name?" "I know many things," Lyra said. "I have watched your planet for a very long time. I've watched you for a long time, waiting for the right moment to come to you." A cold wind blew across the field, making Olivia shiver. In the distance, she could hear a car driving up to the space center. Someone else was coming. "We don't have much time," Lyra said. "Others will come soon. They won't understand. They will be afraid." "Others? You mean humans?" Olivia asked. "No." Lyra looked up at the sky. "Others like me. They have followed me here. They don't want me to find you." Olivia looked up too, but saw only stars. "Why are you here? What do you want from me?" Lyra looked at Olivia with those strange, star-filled eyes. "To show you the truth. To help you remember who you really are." She held out her hand. "Will you come with me? I can show you things no human has ever seen." Olivia looked at the alien's outstretched hand, then at the beautiful, strange ship glowing in the dark field. She thought about her quiet life watching the stars through telescopes. She thought about how she had always felt different, like she didn't quite belong. The sound of car doors slamming came from the front of the building. Voices called out. "I need to know," Olivia said and took Lyra's hand. The alien's skin was warm and felt like silk. As their hands touched, Olivia felt a strange tingling sensation move up her arm and into her chest. "Come," Lyra said. "I have waited 5,000 years to find you again. I have so much to show you." Together they walked toward the silver ship, their joined hands glowing softly in the darkness. Inside the ship, Olivia felt dizzy. Everything was so strange. The walls looked solid but moved like water. The light came from everywhere but nowhere specific. There were no sharp edges anywhere. Everything curved and flowed. "This way," Lyra said, leading Olivia deeper into the ship. Olivia tried to understand what she was seeing. There were no buttons or controls like in human spaceships she had seen in movies. Instead, parts of the walls glowed in different colors. When Lyra touched these glowing spots, things happened. Doors opened, lights changed, and soft sounds played. "What is this place?" Olivia asked. "How does your ship work?" "It is alive in a way," Lyra explained. "We don't build our ships like you build machines. We grow them from special materials that can think and respond to us." They entered a large round room. The ceiling looked like the night sky, but with stars and planets Olivia had never seen before. The floor was soft and warm under her feet. "This is my living space," Lyra said. "Please, sit." A part of the floor rose up, forming a comfortable seat. Olivia sat down carefully, half expecting it to collapse, but it held her weight easily. "You said you knew me," Olivia said. "How is that possible?" Lyra stood in the center of the room. "My people are called the Astrians. We are very old. We learned long ago how to stop aging. I have been alive for over 10,000 of your Earth years." Olivia's eyes widened. "You're immortal?" "In a way, yes. We can still die from accidents or if someone kills us, but not from old age," Lyra explained. "We have traveled the stars for thousands of years, watching young species like humans grow and develop." "And you knew me? From before?" Olivia asked. None of this made sense. Lyra nodded. "Not you exactly, but someone who looked exactly like you. Let me show you." Lyra waved her hand in the air. The room darkened. Then, in the center of the room, a picture appeared floating in the air. It showed a desert and old stone buildings. Olivia recognized them from history books. "That's ancient Egypt," she said. "Yes," Lyra agreed. "About 5,000 years ago." The picture moved, showing people walking around in old clothes. They wore white robes and gold jewelry. Then the picture focused on one woman. Olivia gasped. The woman looked exactly like her. Same face, same eyes, same body. She was dressed like an Egyptian, with dark makeup around her eyes and black hair. But it was like looking in a mirror. "This was Neferet," Lyra said softly. "She was a priestess and a scholar in the royal house of Egypt." "She looks exactly like me," Olivia whispered. "She is you," Lyra said. "Or you are her. I'm not sure how to explain it best." The picture changed, showing Neferet and Lyra together. They were looking at star maps and writing on papyrus. They looked like close friends. I first came to Earth to study humans, Lyra explained. We Astrians were curious about your kind. I was supposed to just watch and learn, not make contact. But I was young for my kind, only 1,000 years old. I was curious and broke the rules. The floating pictures showed Lyra teaching Neferet about stars and mathematics. Neferet was special. She understood things no other human of that time could understand. She learned our science quickly, and Lyra paused, her voice becoming softer. We became very close. I loved her. Olivia watched the images, feeling strange. It was like watching a movie about herself, but from a life she couldn't remember. What happened to her? Olivia asked. Lyra's face became sad. The pictures changed, showing other silver ships arriving. People like Lyra, but wearing different clothes, came out of the ships. My people found out I had made contact with humans. They were angry. It was against our laws to interfere with developing species. Lyra's voice shook as she spoke. They came to take me back and erase all evidence that I had been there. The pictures showed chaos, people running, buildings burning. Neferet discovered that my people had been secretly watching humans for thousands of years. Not just watching, but sometimes making small changes to your development, guiding your evolution in certain directions. Why would they do that? Olivia asked. For their own purposes, Lyra said. I didn't know about this at the time. Neferet found out and tried to stop them. The next picture made Olivia feel sick. It showed Neferet standing between Lyra and the other aliens. There was a bright flash of light. When it cleared, Neferet was lying on the ground, not moving. She gave her life to protect me, Lyra whispered. Glowing tears ran down her face again, but before she died, she did something my people thought was impossible. She somehow stored her consciousness pattern, what you might call a soul, and hid it where they couldn't find it. The pictures disappeared. The lights in the room came back on. Lyra walked over and knelt in front of Olivia. For 5,000 years I've been searching, following traces of her consciousness as it moved through time. Lyra took something from a pocket in her clothes. It looked like a small crystal. This can measure consciousness patterns, like a fingerprint for your mind. She held it near Olivia. The crystal glowed brightly and made a soft humming sound. See? It confirms what I already knew when I saw you. You have exactly the same consciousness pattern as Neferet. Not similar. Identical. Olivia shook her head. That's not possible. I'm just a normal woman from Colorado. I was born here, I have parents, a childhood. I'm not some ancient Egyptian priestess. Your body and your memories are new, Lyra agreed. But the core of who you are, your consciousness, is the same as hers. Somehow, she managed to ensure her consciousness would return, intact, thousands of years later. Olivia stood up and walked around the room. This was too much to take in. Why would she do that? Why would she make sure to come back thousands of years later? Lyra stood too. Because she learned something important. Something dangerous about my people's interest in humans. She was trying to warn your people to protect them, but she ran out of time. A soft alarm sound filled the room. Lyra looked up, suddenly alert. What's that? Olivia asked. Proximity alarm. Other ships are approaching. Lyra moved quickly to the wall and touched several glowing spots. A big picture appeared showing the space above Earth. 3 silver ships larger than Lyra's were moving toward them. Who are they? Olivia asked. The Astrian Council, my people's leaders. They know I've found you. Lyra looked at Olivia with worry in her star-filled eyes. They'll try to take you to study you. They want to know how Neferet did what she did. What do we do? Olivia asked, feeling afraid for the first time. We have to leave Earth now. Lyra touched more spots on the wall. The ship hummed louder. I'm sorry to take you away from your home, but it's not safe for you here anymore. Not with them coming. But my job, my apartment, my friends, Olivia began. If we stay, the council will take you. They will erase everyone's memory of you. It will be like you never existed. Lyra looked deeply into Olivia's eyes. I promise I will protect you. and I promise to help you understand why you did this. There's a reason you've returned now. After all this time, the ship began to vibrate slightly. Outside, the sky was getting lighter as dawn approached. We don't have much time, Lyra said. Will you trust me? Olivia thought about her quiet life at the observatory, about the stars she had always loved, watching, and now they were coming to her. Yes, she said, I'll trust you. Lyra smiled. She touched one final spot on the wall. The ship rose smoothly into the air. Olivia watched through a clear section of the wall as her home planet grew smaller below them. In seconds, they were above the clouds. In minutes, they were leaving Earth's atmosphere. The stars welcomed them as they flew into the darkness of space. The ship moved faster than anything Olivia had ever experienced. Earth quickly became a small blue dot, then disappeared among the stars. She felt no movement, no pressure like in a fast car or airplane. The ship seemed to ignore the normal rules of physics. Are we safe now? Olivia asked, looking at the stars streaking by on the viewing screen. Lyra shook her head. Not yet. The council ships are faster than mine. They will catch us soon if we travel this way. She moved her hands over the glowing control spots. A map appeared in the air showing their position and 3 dots moving quickly behind them. Those are the council ships? Olivia asked. Yes. They're gaining on us. Lyra looked worried. I need to use fold space to escape them. Fold space? What does that mean? It's hard to explain in your language, Lyra said. We bend the fabric of reality to move great distances instantly. That sounded impossible to Olivia, but then again, so did everything else that had happened in the last few hours. Will it be dangerous? She asked. For most humans, yes, but you... Lyra looked at her closely. Neferet could withstand it. Her mind was special. And since you share her consciousness pattern, you should be able to as well. Before Olivia could ask more questions, an alarm sounded. On the screen, one of the council ships had fired something at them. A bright beam of energy shot past their ship, missing them by what seemed like inches. They're trying to disable us, not destroy us, Lyra explained. They want you alive. She worked quickly, touching various spots on the walls. The ship hummed louder. Prepare yourself, Lyra warned. Fold space travel can be disorienting for those not used to it. Olivia gripped the edges of her seat. What should I do? Don't fight what you feel. Let your mind expand. It will be strange, but it won't hurt you. The humming grew louder. The stars on the screen began to stretch, turning from points of light to long lines. The ship vibrated. Now, Lyra shouted, pressing her hand firmly against a large purple spot on the wall. The universe seemed to bend. Olivia felt her body stay in place while her mind stretched outward. It was like her consciousness was being pulled in all directions at once. She could suddenly feel the vastness of space, the countless stars and planets. It was beautiful and terrifying. She saw strange things, worlds with purple skies and 3 suns, oceans made of liquid metal, creatures that lived in the hearts of stars. She felt like she was everywhere and nowhere at the same time. Then, as suddenly as it started, it stopped. Olivia gasped, finding herself back in her body on the ship. She was shaking. Are you all right? Lyra asked, kneeling beside her with concern. I think so. Olivia took deep breaths. What happened? What was that? Fold space affects each person differently, Lyra explained. It seems your mind is indeed special, like Neferet's was. You saw things, didn't you? Other worlds, other realities? Olivia nodded. It was overwhelming, but beautiful too. You did very well for your first fold space travel, Lyra said, looking impressed. Most beings get sick or pass out their first time. Olivia looked at the viewing screen. The stars were normal again, but they were completely different from the ones she knew. Where are we? She asked. About 2,000 light years from Earth, Lyra said. We're orbiting a planet I call Sanctuary. The screen showed a rust-colored planet with 3 small moons. It looked dry and rocky, not very inviting. It looks dead, Olivia said. Lyra smiled. The surface is harsh, yes. But wait until you see beneath it. She adjusted the controls, and the ship began to descend toward the planet. As they got closer, Olivia could see huge cracks in the surface like canyons. Lyra steered the ship toward one of these cracks. Did we lose them? The council ships? Olivia asked. For now, Lyra said. Fold space travel leaves no trail to follow. But they know about this place. They'll check here eventually. We have some time, though. The ship entered the massive canyon. As they flew deeper, Olivia was surprised to see lights along the walls. They looked artificial, like street lamps. Someone lives here? She asked. Many someones, Lyra replied. This is one of the few places, beyond Astrian control, a sanctuary for those who don't want to live under the council's rules. The canyon widened into an enormous underground cavern. Olivia gasped at what she saw. An entire city was built along the walls of the cavern. Buildings of various shapes and sizes were carved into the rock or built on platforms. Lights of all colors illuminated the space. Small ships, similar to Lyra's but in different colors, flew between the structures. Most surprising of all were the beings visible in the open areas. They weren't human, nor were they like Lyra. They had all kinds of shapes and sizes. Some had multiple limbs, others had wings. Some glowed, others seemed to shift and change as they moved. Welcome to Sanctuary City, Lyra said. One of the most diverse places in this part of the galaxy. Who are all these people? Olivia asked. Refugees, mostly. Beings from worlds controlled or destroyed by the Astraean Council. Some are scientists or artists whose work was banned. Others are simply those who wanted freedom from Astraean influence. Lyra guided the ship toward a large platform extending from the cavern wall. The ship landed gently. Through the clear wall, Olivia could see several beings approaching. Are they friends? Olivia asked nervously. Yes, they'll help us, Lyra assured her. But I should warn you, you may be the first human many of them have ever seen. You might get some strange reactions. A door formed in the side of the ship. Lyra took Olivia's hand. Stay close to me. Don't be afraid. They stepped out onto the platform. The air was warm and smelled slightly metallic. Olivia felt lighter than on Earth, as if the gravity was weaker. 3 beings stood waiting for them. One was tall and thin with gray skin that looked like stone. Another was short with 4 arms and large eyes that blinked sideways. The third looked almost human, except for the ridge of small spikes running down the center of its head. Lyra, the stone-skinned one said in a deep, rumbling voice. We detected your arrival. You've brought a human with you. Yes, Krell, Lyra replied. This is Olivia. She needs our protection. The council is after her. The 4-armed being moved closer, looking at Olivia with great interest. Why would the council chase one human? They usually ignore individuals. She's special, Lyra said. She carries the consciousness pattern of someone who died 5,000 years ago, someone who discovered one of the council's secrets. The 3 beings looked at each other. The almost human one spoke, its voice musical and light. Come with us quickly. If the council is in pursuit, we should get you both below. They led Olivia and Lyra to a small transport vehicle that hovered above the platform. As they climbed in, Olivia looked back at the amazing underground city. Beings of all kinds were going about their business. Some were looking up at her with curiosity. I never imagined anything like this existed, she said quietly. There's much more you haven't seen yet, Lyra told her. The universe is vast and full of wonders. The transport moved quickly along a path through the city. They passed buildings with strange architecture, markets with items Olivia couldn't identify, and gathering places where different species mingled. Where are we going? Olivia asked. To the deep archives, the stone being named Krell said. If you carry an ancient consciousness pattern, we need to learn why it has returned now. The archives may have answers. The transport descended further, into the planet, following a spiral path downward. The temperature grew warmer. The light changed from artificial to a natural blue glow coming from crystal formations in the rock walls. Finally, they reached a massive door made of some dark metal. Symbols were carved into its surface, similar to the moving patterns inside Lyra's ship. The Deep Archives, the four-armed being announced. No one has been allowed inside for over a century. Why not? Olivia asked. The knowledge inside is considered dangerous by the Council, Lyra explained. They tried to destroy this place many times. The almost human being placed its hand on a panel beside the door. I am the current keeper of the archives. I will grant you access, but be warned. Some knowledge cannot be unlearned. The massive door slowly opened. Beyond it was darkness. Then lights began to come on one by one, revealing an enormous library. But instead of books, the shelves held crystals of various colors, small devices that hovered in the air, and containers with swirling mists inside them. What is all this? Olivia asked in wonder. The collected knowledge of 1,000 species across millions of years, the keeper said, including everything we know about the Astrians and their activities throughout the galaxy. Lyra looked at Olivia. If we want to understand why Neferet sent her consciousness forward in time to you, we'll find the answers here. They walked into the archives, the massive door closing behind them. Olivia felt a strange sensation, like the knowledge around her was alive and watching. Where do we start? She asked. The keeper moved to a central platform. We start by learning who you were, who you are now, and what connects the two across 5,000 years of time. Overhead, something that looked like a miniature galaxy began to form, its lights casting shadows across their faces as the search for answers began. The deep archives were unlike any library Olivia had ever seen. Knowledge wasn't stored in books but in strange devices. The keeper led them through rows of glowing crystals, floating spheres, and containers with swirling mists. Each storage method is suited to different types of information, the keeper explained. Crystals hold facts and data. Spheres contain memories and experiences. The mist containers preserve complete consciousness recordings. Olivia looked at everything with wide eyes. How old is all this? The oldest records date back over 2 billion years, the keeper said. Before the Astraians became the dominant power in this part of the galaxy, they reached a circular platform in the center of the vast room. The keeper touched symbols on a control panel, and the platform began to glow. Please stand here, the way, keeper said to Olivia. She hesitated, looking at Lyra. It's safe, Lyra assured her. It will scan your consciousness pattern so we can search for matches in the archives. Olivia stepped onto the platform. A warm sensation spread through her body. Above her head, lights formed patterns like a complex web or net. Fascinating, the keeper said, watching the patterns. Your consciousness structure is unique. I've never seen anything quite like it. Is it human? Olivia asked. The base pattern is human, yes, the keeper replied, but there are elements that seem engineered, as if someone modified the natural pattern. The scan completed, and the platform stopped glowing. The keeper touched more symbols and the web of light moved to a large viewing area. Now we search for matches, the keeper said. The four-armed being who had introduced herself as Mix came forward. I'll assist with the historical context. I specialize in Earth history. The search began. Lights and images flashed across the viewing area too quickly for Olivia to follow. The stone being, Krell, explained that they were searching billions of records in moments. Finally, the system chimed. The flashing stopped and several distinct patterns appeared. We have matches, the keeper announced. As expected, one from ancient Egypt, approximately 5,000 Earth years ago. But there are others, earlier ones. Earlier? Lyra looked surprised. Neferet's consciousness existed before Egypt? It appears so, the keeper said. We have partial matches from 7 other time periods going back nearly 30,000 years. Always human, always female. Olivia felt dizzy. Are you saying I've lived multiple lives? Not exactly, Mix explained. These aren't reincarnations in the spiritual sense. This is something different, more like iterations. versions of the same consciousness pattern gradually evolving. The keeper touched another control. A timeline appeared showing 8 points of light, with the brightest being Neferet in ancient Egypt, and the final one being Olivia. Each version was more complex than the last, the keeper noted, building toward something. But who would do this? Olivia asked. Who could plan something across thousands of years? Lyra had been quiet, studying the patterns. Now she spoke. I think I know. Computer, search Astrian Council records for Project Continuum. The system worked again. New information appeared on the screen. Much of it was in a strange language. Olivia couldn't read. Just as I suspected, Lyra said grimly. Olivia, the Astrian Council has been manipulating human development for millennia. Project Continuum was one of their largest efforts. What was the goal? Krell asked. Immortality, Lyra said. Not just extending life as we've done, but true evolutionary advancement. The keeper nodded. The Astrians achieved physical immortality through technology, but at a cost. Their consciousness patterns became fixed, unchanging. They stopped evolving. Exactly, Lyra agreed. While humans have short lives, your neural patterns are remarkably dynamic. You create new connections until the moment of death. The Council believed this quality could be harvested somehow to help Astrians evolve again. Olivia tried to understand. So they've been experimenting on humans for thousands of years? Yes, Mick said. Subtle manipulations. Introducing certain ideas through chosen individuals, making small genetic adjustments to populations, all guiding human development in specific directions. But what does this have to do with me? Olivia asked. With Neferet? Lyra's face showed dawning realization. Neferet discovered Project Continuum. That's what happened. When I was teaching her our science, she must have accessed information about the project. She looked at Olivia with new understanding. She wasn't just trying to save me from the Council. She was trying to stop their manipulation of humanity. The keeper brought up new images, showing ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs and Astrian symbols, side by side. According to these records, Neferet created something called a consciousness anchor, a way to preserve her exact neural pattern and ensure it would reappear in the future. But why? Olivia asked. What good would that do? Because, Lyra said softly, she must have encoded something within her own consciousness. Something the Council wouldn't detect. Something that would pass through time unchanged. The keeper touched another control. A small device rose from beneath the platform, a crystal crown-like object. This is a memory activator, the keeper explained. It can access deep consciousness patterns, including those that might be hidden or dormant. Olivia looked at the device nervously. Will it hurt? No, the keeper assured her. But it may be overwhelming. You could experience memories that aren't from your current life. Olivia looked at Lyra, who nodded encouragingly. I'll be right here with you, Lyra promised. Taking a deep breath, Olivia sat in the chair the keeper indicated. The crystal crown was placed gently on her head. It felt cool at first, then warm. Close your eyes, the keeper instructed. Don't fight what you see or feel. Just let the memories come. Olivia closed her eyes. At first, there was nothing. Then, like a flood, images poured into her mind. She saw ancient Egypt through Neferet's eyes. She felt the hot sun, smelled the Nile River, heard the sounds of the royal court. She saw herself meeting Lyra for the first time, learning about the stars and mathematics. Then came darker memories, discovering hidden records in Lyra's ship, learning about Project Continuum. The horror of realizing how long humans had been manipulated by the Astrians. She saw herself working frantically, using both human knowledge and what she'd learned from Lyra to create something new, a way to preserve not just her consciousness but a message, a plan spanning thousands of years. Then came the final memory, standing between Lyra and the Astrian enforcers. Pain as energy weapons struck her body, using her last moments to activate the consciousness anchor, hiding it where the Astrians would never think to look, in the human genetic code itself. Olivia gasped as the memories ended. She opened her eyes, tears streaming down her face. The others were watching her with concern. "I remember," she whispered. "I remember everything." "What, did you see?" Lyra asked, taking her hand. Neferet knew she couldn't stop the Astrians then. They were too powerful, so she created a plan that would take thousands of years to complete. Olivia touched her temple, where new knowledge seemed to be unfolding. She encoded information about Astrian technology directly into her consciousness pattern, ensuring it would be preserved through time. "What kind of information?" Krell asked. "How their ships work, how their weapons function, how their immortality technology operates." Olivia looked at Lyra. She knew that eventually humans would develop enough to understand and use this knowledge. She was creating a balance of power. The Keeper looked impressed. A single human managed to preserve complex technical knowledge across 5 millennia? Remarkable. "Not just knowledge," Olivia said, new memories still emerging. She also encoded a way to free humanity from Astrian influence, a signal that can disrupt their control systems. Lyra's eyes widened. That's why the Council has been hunting for her consciousness pattern all this time. They knew what she had done, but not how to find it. A loud alarm suddenly blared throughout the archives. Red lights flashed on the walls. "What's happening?" Olivia asked. "Proximity alert," Krell said, moving to a control panel. "Ships entering the sanctuary system, many ships." "The Council found us," Lyra said grimly. "Faster than I expected." On a large screen, they could see several large Astrian vessels approaching the planet. They were much bigger than Lyra's ship, with shapes that seemed to bend reality around them. "We need to leave," Lyra said urgently. "Now." "Where can we go?" Olivia asked. "If they found us here, they can find us anywhere." Lyra looked at her with determination. "Not anywhere. There's one place they won't expect. We're going back to Earth." "Earth? But that's the first place they'll look," Olivia protested. "Exactly," Lyra said. "They'll expect us to run, to hide. Instead, we'll go straight to the place where we can use Neferet's knowledge most effectively." The Keeper spoke up. "I've analyzed the complete consciousness pattern. The signal disruption technology is indeed there, but it needs to be activated properly. You'll need specific equipment." "Can you help us?" Lyra asked. The Keeper nodded. "The archives will provide what you need, but you must hurry." As alarms continued to sound, they rushed to gather the necessary items. The Keeper gave them crystals containing important information. Mix provided small devices that glowed with inner light. "These will help you extract and focus the knowledge in Olivia's consciousness," the Keeper explained. The journey back to Earth through fold space felt different this time. Olivia was no longer just a passenger but an active participant. Her mind worked with Lyra's, guiding the ship through the twisted reality between stars. She could feel Neferet's knowledge fully integrated with her own consciousness now, like remembering skills she had always known but somehow forgotten. They emerged from fold space in Earth's orbit, the blue planet shining below them. "We made it," Olivia said, looking at her home world. "Yes, but the Council ships won't be far behind," Lyra replied, checking the ship's systems. "We have hours at most before they arrive." "What exactly is our plan?" Olivia asked. The memories from Neferet were clear, but how to use them in the present was still forming in her mind. "We need to build a transmission device," Lyra explained. "Something that can broadcast the signal encoded in your consciousness. It needs to reach both humans and Astrians simultaneously." Olivia nodded, understanding. "I know how to build it. Neferet's knowledge includes the design." She pointed to a clear area of the ship. "We can construct it here." They landed the ship in a remote desert area that Olivia recognized as New Mexico. It was night, and the stars shone brightly overhead. They worked quickly, using materials from the ship and the devices the Keeper had given them. Olivia's hands moved with confidence she didn't know she possessed, assembling alien technology with perfect precision. Lyra watched in amazement. "You truly do have her knowledge," Lyra said softly. Neferet was brilliant even by Astrian standards. I can feel her memories, her thoughts, Olivia replied as she worked. But they're my thoughts too now. It's strange. I'm still me, but I'm also her. The device took shape, a crystal sphere surrounded by rings of metal that moved in different directions. Inside the sphere, a blue light pulsed like a heartbeat. This will amplify and broadcast the signal? Lyra asked. Yes, Olivia said, but it needs a power source stronger than what your ship can provide. Lyra thought for a moment. There's one option, but it's dangerous. We could reconfigure the ship's core to provide a power surge. It would destroy the ship, but it might give us enough energy. Before Olivia could respond, an alarm sounded from the ship's control panel. They're here already? Olivia asked, alarmed. Lyra checked the screen. No, not yet. But Earth's own detection systems have found us. Your military is sending aircraft to investigate. We need more time, Olivia said. I'll try to communicate with them, Lyra decided. She touched the control panel, sending a message in English to the approaching aircraft. Minutes later, they heard the sound of jets overhead. Lyra's ship was visible in the desert night, its silver surface reflecting moonlight. Did it work? Olivia asked. Partially, Lyra said. They're holding position instead of attacking, but they've called for reinforcements. More humans are coming. Olivia continued working on the device. That might actually help us. The more humans who witness this, the better. The signal needs to reach as many minds as possible. Suddenly, the sky lit up with multiple flashes of light. 3 large ships appeared in the atmosphere, much bigger than Lyra's. The Council, Lyra said grimly. They found us faster than I expected. The massive ships descended, surrounding them, in a triangle formation. Lyra's ship looked tiny compared to their enormous size. We need to hurry, Lyra urged. Once they land, they'll try to take us both. Olivia connected the final components of the device. It's ready. We just need the power source. Lyra began reconfiguring her ship's systems, rerouting energy to create the massive surge they needed. As she worked, a beam of light shot down from one of the Council ships, creating a circle around them. What's that? Olivia asked. Containment field, Lyra explained. They're trying to prevent us from leaving or using technology. Will it stop our device? I don't think so. They don't know exactly what we're doing. Lyra finished the power connections. There. The ship's core is set to overload on my command. It will give us about 30 seconds of maximum power before it destroys itself. A section of the largest Council ship opened. A smaller craft descended from it, landing about 100 yards from them. Its door opened, and a figure emerged. Unlike Lyra, who looked mostly human, this being was clearly alien. Tall and thin, with skin that seemed partly transparent, showing light moving beneath it. The being had no hair, and its eyes were completely black. It wore flowing robes that changed color with each movement. The commander, Lyra whispered. The head of the Astraean Council. The commander walked toward them, passing through the containment field as if it wasn't there. When it spoke, its voice seemed to come from everywhere at once. Lyra of the Science Guild, the commander said. You have violated numerous laws, interfering with developing species, stealing classified technology, harboring a fugitive consciousness. You are the ones who have violated your own laws, Lyra responded boldly. Project Continuum was never authorized by the full council. You've been manipulating humans in secret for millennia. The commander's face showed no emotion. We do what is necessary for our survival. Humans are a resource like any other species. Olivia stepped forward. We are not a resource. We are people with our own right to develop without interference. The commander looked at her with those black eyes. Ah, the vessel of Neferet's consciousness. How interesting to finally meet you. It tilted its head. You don't understand what you're involved in, human. Your kind has been guided by us since you first walked upright. Everything you are, we helped create. That doesn't give you ownership of us, Olivia said firmly. The commander moved closer, What do you hope to accomplish here? Even if you broadcast Neferet's signal, what will it change? Humans are not ready to understand Astrian technology. Maybe not all of it, Olivia agreed. But we're ready to know the truth. That we're not alone in the universe. That we've been manipulated. That we have a right to choose our own path forward. Lyra moved to stand beside Olivia. The signal isn't just for humans, it's for Astrians too. Many of our people don't know what the Council has been doing. They deserve the truth as well. The commander's skin flashed with colors, showing anger. You would undo millennia of careful work for the sake of one human consciousness? For the sake of both our species, Lyra replied. Their fire, our endurance, a true partnership instead of secret manipulation. The commander raised a hand. Energy began to gather around its fingertips. I cannot allow this. Too much is at stake. Olivia looked at Lyra, who nodded. It was time. Olivia stepped forward, placing herself between Lyra and the commander. As she did, she felt something change within her. The knowledge from Neferet activated fully, flowing through her mind and body. Her skin began to glow with the same inner light as the Astrians. The hidden genetic modifications that Neferet had encoded thousands of years ago finally expressed themselves. I was designed for this moment, Olivia said, her voice resonating at frequencies that made the air vibrate. Not as your subject, but as your equal. The commander's black eyes widened in surprise. Impossible. A human cannot carry Astraean genetics. Neferet found a way, Olivia said. She understood your science better than you thought. She prepared for this day across 5,000 years. Behind her, Lyra activated the transmission device. The crystal sphere began to spin, the blue light within it growing brighter. Stop this, the commander demanded, raising both hands now, energy gathering in a threatening display. It's too late, Olivia said calmly. The truth cannot be contained any longer. Lyra pressed the final control. Her ship's core began to overload, channeling enormous energy into the device. The crystal sphere spun faster, the blue light turning white-hot. The commander fired its energy weapon, but the beam stopped short of Olivia, dispersing against an invisible shield created by her transformed body. What is happening? The commander demanded. Olivia felt the knowledge flowing through her, understanding everything now. Neferet didn't just preserve her consciousness. She found a way to incorporate Astrian genetic potential into the human genome. It remained dormant until needed, until now. The device reached full power. From the crystal sphere, a pulse of energy expanded outward in all directions. It was not destructive, it carried information. The truth about the Astrian Council's manipulation of humanity, the potential for a new relationship between the species, and most importantly, a way to free humans from the subtle controls the Astrians had placed in human minds over thousands of years. The pulse spread across Earth, touching every human mind. It reached the Council ships and beyond, carrying, too, every Astrian in the solar system. The commander staggered backward, overwhelmed by the signal. What have you done? Created choice, Olivia said simply. Now both our species can decide their future with full knowledge of the past. As the transmission continued, Lyra's ship began to break apart, the core overload reaching critical levels. Lyra rushed to Olivia's side, taking her hand. We need to get away from the ship, she warned. Together they ran, moving beyond the containment field which had been disrupted by the transmission. Behind them, Lyra's ship exploded in a flash of blue-white light. The force knocked them to the ground. When they looked up, they saw the commander returning to its ship. The other Astrians were retreating as well, the massive council vessels rising back into the sky,